Second, call the question. Those in favor, opposed, motion carry. And the next committee meeting will be March 16th at 4 p.m. The same place. Any addition or deletion from the agenda? No? So we have 4 items today. So the first item.
Move the agenda.
Okay, move and second, call the question. In favor, opposed, motion carry. Okay, first item, Richmond Active Transportation Committee proposed 2021 initiatives. Donna, anything to add to the report?
Nothing to add, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions or discussion on the report? Hi, Linda.
Thanks, Mr. Chair, and through you to staff. Well, thank you for a very great report, and I know the committee does a lot of work in the community, and that's really good. Now, on our Public Works page 51, it's the very last promotion of active transportation network. Recently, councillors received an email from Stephen DeRoche. He's the, I guess, the president or the chair of the Richmond chapter of HUB. And he was talking about an experience that he had on the Railway Greenway. And he was cycling and people were telling him he shouldn't be on the multi-use pathway. He should be on the bike lane on the road. And I ride that pathway a lot. And, I'm not a commuter cyclist, so I feel a little bit safer on the Greenway and I don't use the road pathway. And I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity for, this group to do some education on the multi-use pathways. We're getting more of them. We have the one on number 2 road, which will be, expanding. And I think some people do get nervous when they see cyclists. I've never experienced that myself. I haven't had anybody say, you shouldn't be on here. But, I can see how people would be maybe feeling a bit, worried that it is crowded.
Yes, through the chair to Councillor McPhail. Yes, that's something we can look into.
Yes.
Great, thanks very much.
Michael?
Yes, thank you, through the chair. Just first a clarification to staff. There's nothing in this report that mentions the Alderbridge Way Greenway or extension. Is that correct? Is that coming in a future Active Transportation Committee initiative, or would that come somewhere else? So what I'm referring to is there was a multi-use. There's still a sign up there at the corner of Fore Road and Alderbridge, and part of the section was done. But I was told that there was design phases and stuff for the eastern section. Is that still to come? And is this the type of place I would find that?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, that's a project that has transitioned to our engineering department, so I could defer to Milton Chan to help answer the status of that.
Any further question? Oh, through the chair to Councillor Wolf, Eric Sperlin is taking a look at looking after that program. So if Eric could provide an update.
Okay.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, yeah. So that project is in 2 phases. So the first phase has been completed. The second phase, we're still refining a little bit of the design, and we'll be commencing that shortly, like hopefully in 2021.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you for all the clarification and getting it to the person in the know. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Any further
Move recommendation.
Move. Second. I call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to number 2, Traffic Safety Advisory Committee proposed 2021 initiatives. Donna, anything to add to the report or comments?
Nothing further to add. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? I just want to raise a point. Now, this is a very good report. However, I just want to see if we can do more than just counting the numbers or, giving a summary of what has been done. And whether or not there could be some data about the effectiveness of all those programs to reduce casualties and accidents. And in a sense, can we, apart from the output measure, can we have some outcome measure as well? So I think perhaps this is something for the future, but I would like to suggest that we look into that instead of just having output data. Perhaps you should have some outcome data. Any comments?
Mr. Chair, maybe I can take a stab at that. Yeah, no, absolutely. We are always looking at metrics to determine the effectiveness of the things, programs we're doing and the things that we're constructing. And we can definitely bring forward metrics to you in the future showing the effectiveness of what we're doing.
Good, thank you. Michael?
Thank you. It just came to mind that last night we made some decisions around zoning on railway, and I was curious if staff who are here today would take the direction to ensure that in the Hollies area, those laneways are part of active traffic safety advisory committee work or observation. And then as well, there was a school zone, I believe that Councillor Liu had mentioned some specific roads where there was inappropriate drop-off pickup locations happening, and I'm not sure if staff can look into the proper proposal or direction to take from that discussion. So was that all noted last night? And it would come in here in a future meeting?
To the chair, to Councillor Wolf, yes, we will look into that and bring it to a future meeting.
Good, thank you. Alexa?
Thank you, through the chair. I wanted to thank staff for all the work they've been doing and working together with this. I've been through a few of the intersections recently that have been or are in the process of being improved. So Thomas Kidd, I know that one is always one where people can get going quite quickly up Shell Road, and I see that one's almost finished, the whole project there. And I think the whole neighborhood's looking forward to the Shell and Williams rail in conjunction with the railway crossing, that whole thing getting improved upon. So thank you for all the work that you're doing on that.
Good. Okay, so do I have a mover for the staff recommendation? Move, second.
Move recommendation.
So move and seconded. I call the question. Those in favor, oppose, motion carry. Number 3, proposed 2021 paving program. Eric, any comments or further information?
Nothing further to add. Available to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff? Michael?
Yes, thank you. My question is partially answered already. I just thought if there's any further updates since this was made because of the freezing over the weekend and some of the cracks that I've noticed that have been spreading. So it relates to, on page 64, the performance of the high reclaimed asphalt pavement pilot project. It's that section of number 5 road. I'm just curious, is there any further updates? Do we notice that the frost action did do any additional damage to that recycled content?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, I haven't had the opportunity to check that road since that time for relating to frost. I also have Larry Ford on the line from Public Works, and maybe he has some further comments.
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Wolf. At this time, it held up very well. We'll know more as the rains come now to see if there was any deterioration. But it looks like there was absolutely no difference whatsoever in the performance of that material.
Great. If I may, through the chair, to follow up, do we have plans, or is there a future opportunity where we would need council's direction to use more of this high reclaimed asphalt, or when does a decision get made for that?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, in the 2021 program, we're actually looking at doing a local road. So last year we did an arterial road, and so we just wanted to try a variety of different types of roads to evaluate the material.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf as well, I'll just add that, yes, it's certainly with the successful trials on this, our objective would be to embed this as a standard performance measure in all of our asphalt programs. So, yeah, with positive performance metrics on some of these early efforts, we would look to move and move the whole industry into making this a standard.
Great, that's a type of leadership I hope we can take. So thank you so much.
Okay, Linda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you to staff. Well, thank you very much for the report. And I just have a question following up on the comment about weather. And, you know, with the rain we've been having and then obviously the snow, I mean, I've noticed some roads that, you know, probably need some touch-up or something in the future. So how do they fall into? So, you know, somebody phones into the works yard and says, you know, Petch Road is really in bad shape. How does that fall into the paving program?
Through the chair to Councillor McPhail, any requests that we receive, we can look at that. And again, as in other years, we can add locations to the paving program as required.
Great. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
Move recommendation.
So recommendation moved and seconded. Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carry. Item number 4, South Dyke repairs, Gilbert Road area. So Eric, anything to add or comments to make?
Yes, we have one revision. So given the timing of this report, and since the proposed 2021 capital budget was approved at Finance Committee yesterday, Finance staff have recommended that this item be included in the consolidated 5-year financial plan. We have a new suggested staff recommendation. I'll read that out. That funding of $500,000 from the Drainage Improvement Reserve Fund be approved to complete dike armoring repairs and debris removal along the South Dyke at Gilbert Road and be included in the consolidated 5-year financial plan 2021 to 2025 accordingly.
I would so move.
Okay, good. So there's more change to the motion. So it's moved, second. Any further discussion? Michael, you have a question?
Yes, thank you to the chair. It was actually, I'm not sure if staff could, I've only been able to drive past it, haven't been able to walk the length to see any of the damage. And so just a couple of questions of that. So in the report, it talked about there being woody debris dislodged portions of the riprap armor. Does that involve like the woody debris coming in and like prying out some of the granite rocks? Because like what severity, what visuals can you plant for us other than what the pictures show? Anyone have a comment on that?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, yeah, so a lot of the larger rocks are actually, or sort of larger logs are fairly big and actually smash into the armoring, the riprap, and have dislodged that and sort of causes it to slough down into the river.
So we would need heavy equipment to bring those items back in and place them. My other question to the chair and staff would, around this time of year, normally large projects that involve disturbing bird nesting habitats, or they're kind of rushing to get them done. Are we aware of the timeline? Because there are shorebirds that actually nest in what might look like open space or gravel or little spaces between, but they can be ground nesting shorebirds. So are we taking the timeline for that in heed and trying to get this work done before we go too far into that?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, yes, and for all our projects, we do involve a qualified environmental professional, so we do take their advice on bird nesting windows.
Great. All right, appreciate that. Thanks so much.
Okay, Linda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you to staff. Well, thank you for the report. And given that this is such a highly used area of Richmond, and, you know, now people are out walking and cycling and lots of vehicles, is there going to be signage about the work that's going on? And is there going to be any traffic issues? Will traffic be made into one lane? Because I know that, and I think last year during the King Tide, there was a lot of debris up on the shore there, and people were upset that we were moving logs and things like that. So I think anything we can do to communicate to the public what we're doing is a really great idea.
Through the chair to Councillor McPhail. So yes, we will put up some project signage, including some contact information to provide the public with information on what we're doing and the appropriate contacts. And typically we would be doing a single lane alternating traffic if we do need to block one lane of traffic.
All right, great. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Any further questions? Our staff recommendation already being moved and seconded. I call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carry. Number 5, any managers' reports?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we'll just have Larry do an update on the weekend snow and ice events.
Sure.
Yes. through the chair to the rest of the committee, we had a little bit of snow. We had about 12.6 centimeters fell at YVR over the 3 days, 12th, 13th, and 14th. And staff plowed and salted and brined about 8,900 lineal lane kilometers in the city. So we had a successful event, a response. Even though the forecast kept changing on us, it was I believe we handled it very well. The Snow Angels were out as well. 30 volunteers attended 38 residences. They're removing the snow for vulnerable citizens. And they spent about between 22 and 24 hours doing their work. So again, that was a successful program for them.
Okay. Any questions for that? No, okay. Oh, Michael.
Sorry, I just had a comment that asking the students about cities putting salt and sand down. I thought I tricked them, but they all knew that our trucks are putting these things down on the road that aren't making a big mess behind, and it doesn't seem to go anywhere, but they're doing stuff. And I can attribute, I observed lots of great coverage, and even I noticed some of the trucks were backing into spaces where often vehicles would park that are kind of off-road. So, and you could see today when I took a group on a walk on the Shell Trail, and you could see that the vehicle, because of the way it did its turnaround, it ended up giving a good coverage. So if there were icy spots where pedestrians are getting out of vehicles, the trucks did a great job of that coverage. So thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
So any further reports from managers? Seeing none, I would just want to say that I received requests from residents on Pemberton Drive asking for consideration of setting up speed bumps in that area. So I just want to alert staff that this request is coming, and I just want to put it onto record that we will follow up on that. Lloyd, do you want to say anything about that?
Thank you, Councillor Au. Mr. Chair, we'll look forward to seeing that request. Of course, we'll work with the residents to get them the measures that they would like to see.
Great. Michael?
Thank you. I thought there might be a manager's report where I could fit this in, but these are just a couple of very short comments and maybe one question. So I noticed a few times now a person in the morning walking down number 7 road picking up garbage, and today I noticed it was a City of Richmond vest on. Is that any way connected to city staff, where we actually have people walking the edges of farm roads and using a picking tool and picking up trash and putting it into containers as they walk? Or is this someone who's like adopted a trail, part of the partner program? Any idea on that?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, based on your description, it sounds unlikely that would be a city-initiated program. If I get a little more details on it, I can confirm and get back to you, but based on your description, it's unlikely.
Okay, thanks. And then as a result of, actually, I have a further comment through the chair on this one. I've noticed commuting from central Richmond to Hamilton daily, that sometimes there's a cone that has City of Richmond written around it, and then within a day or so, the debris that's sloping into the ditch is gone. Is that part of city protocol? So trucks go by, they see something, they put a cone, and then the appropriate staff come to retrieve what that area is. And does it also get mapped? Like, is it just the cone, or is there an online system where we GPS where these sites are, where there's debris on the edges of farm road?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, that is a standard practice for us, that we would mark an item with a cone just till we get the appropriate resources or equipment to go and address whatever it's indicating. Any work of that type will be logged as a service request, or a work order will be created so we can go back and we can query those based on what type of activity, location, date, time. So yes, it is a standard practice for us to do that. The only time it wouldn't be is if we can address that concern immediately and we don't need to mark it for somebody else to come out and address it.
Right, I appreciate that. I had noted last week some piles of garbage that showed up during the day. Like, as I went to work and back, someone had found a good spot at the edge of the overpass on 7 Road over Highway 91 and just loaded up a pile of garbage. Right midday they did this. It was just incredible. And how often I've seen it these last few weeks. It's maybe you see it as a surge at this time of year on going back in records, but I've never seen it so bad. My last question is, ICBC rebates are coming to people who have annual insurance. I'm curious, does the city fleet expect to have, I think it was about $190 average per annual vehicle? What are we expecting to get back, and do we have a way we would use those savings, or would they be banked to the next insurance fees?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, I don't have the exact answer to that question, as in our fleet manager is not on with us this evening, but I would venture to say that our commercial fleet would be different than some of the rebates that we're hearing about typical motorists. I would have to confirm with Suzanne Bycraft, and we can provide that information.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, that's very good. So any further questions, comments? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Move adjournment.
So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you.
Very good.
Goodbye.
Good.